Welcome to Wednesday. It is another edition of Litter Media Live, coming to you from our Kingston National Bank studios with Mike Smith, the Micon. I'm Dan Ramey.
Good morning. We were just on here not too long ago.
We were, yeah. We should have swapped chairs here just to kind of make things look a little like a variety, but that is not the case. We are two very basic, unvariety guys. So thank you for joining us here today on the program. Coming up, we'll set the scene for things that are happening throughout this week and into the weekend with our news topics we'll share with you. We'll also take a look at sports. We have success for a Chillicothe Paints player we'll discuss coming up, and also a look at what is making this date in history on the mind of historians across the world today.
Especially Southern Ohio.
At least this one. It's focused on Southern Ohio?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've not seen it yet, so this is going to be a bit of a surprise
In
to
fact, probably not too far from where you live in the Civil War.
I take that back. I did look at that email, and I did see what it was, and indeed, it is.
Close to home.
Not only close to home,
In
it
my
is
backyard,
home.
yeah.
We'll share details coming up towards the end of the program. And sit close for a Litter Media Dan and Mike radio moment, where we go back into the files of our brains and remember certain things that have happened during our radio careers.
Yeah. It's getting harder and harder to find them. We may have to cut this back to once a week because I'm having a hard time thinking of anything.
That's why we're reviewing this, so that as we age, that we can relive these things.
Yeah.
In that respect. All right, coming up, we'll do all that for you in just a moment, but we want to start with our weather. I just stepped outside. It is thick outside.
Yeah. Again,
Humid.
these are air currents that you're seeing, but this is bringing up hot and humid weather. Temperatures 90, heat index of 100, even warmer tomorrow. Possible thunderstorms with some severe along and north of I-70. They think the worst of it will be north of us, but hello, the weather and the good Lord do what they want to do, despite what we forecast. Hotter tomorrow.
I'm saying 99 there on Friday?
Yeah, it could get really stupid weather. So, yeah, hot. Make sure you hydrate yourself. Mm-hmm. Stay cool.
I have a bottle of hydration right over there. I need to go grab it, I guess.
What was the cool sign? I mean, this is thumbs up, peace, back in the 60s and 70s. Mm-hmm. What was the cool sign? Was there? Other than the cartoon Joe Cool? I don't know if there was a cool sign.
I remember Joe Cool, which was Charles Schultz's drawing of Snoopy.
Yeah, with sunglasses on.
Was Charles Schultz involved with drawing Joe Cool? Yeah, it was, because he was on the program, wasn't he? On some of the kids' programs. Yeah. So, I was just thinking about when you did the peace sign. I remember when George W. Bush went to Australia, and it meant something completely different.
Yes.
All right, coming up in just a moment, we'll take a look at the news topics for today. We'll share with you in just a bit. Scioto Valley Dumpsters, 740-253-8389 is the number to call to get a beautiful orange dumpster, just like this image that was put together by a friend of ours. Mm-hmm. Michael Frank did that. And you can see the areas they service, all contiguous counties to Ross County. Give Carl a call and say, Dan and Mike sent us. I want to get a dumpster for either my home, business, whatever the case you need it for. They'll bring it to you, and then when you're done filling it up, they'll haul it all away. For Scioto Valley Dumpsters.
At Rathkamp Financial, we offer customized investment solutions and superior client service. We believe in long-term relationships and working to earn your continued trust. Our greatest satisfaction comes from working with clients for many years and helping them realize their dreams.
For transportation options in Ross County, call Ross County Health District's Mobility Management Team, 740-779-9652. All right, coming up, sports, but first, news to get us there, to get things started.
Still talking county fair, Benton County Fair. This is the midweek. The Memes Custom of Embroidery and S.E. Scott Trucking Day. I don't know if that's just a sponsorship or an event, but they've got
I think that's sponsorship.
But look at the middle image there, Hump Day, the camel. Yeah, they wheeled it out. Entertainment tonight, the Broken Horn Rodeo getting underway at 7:30. Pike County Fair, that's next week, and you spent some time with Joy Ballman.
Yeah, there I am.
Hey, looky there.
At Blom Arena, and we sat down and had a little chat. There's Joy. This is her second full year of being the OSU Extension 4-H development educator for Pike County. And we had the opportunity to sit down and basically talk about what things you'll get a chance to experience at the fair. Now, they have made a slight change. Usually they had their junior fair night, the crowning of the queen, all that kind of stuff on Monday. They've gone to Sunday for this.
Always before was like the big kickoff was Monday night, but this year we have our main entertainment. Nate Smith is who is going to be here at the Pike County Fair this year on Monday evening, and so they moved the opening ceremonies. They're going to dedicate the new grandstand and have all of the non-livestock awards, crown the Pike County Fair royalty, announce recognized scholarship winners, and then they'll have the pie auction to raise funds for those 4-H scholarships. All of that's going to happen on Monday evening.
That's a big jam-packed night.
That's a big night.
and then the school bus derby right after that on Tuesday.
That's
right?
Tuesday night, I believe so. So that'll be something new and exciting this year that everyone's really looking forward to.
You mentioned the grandstand. Of course, last year after the fair was done, demolition happened. Since then, they've constructed a new structure, and it's ready to go.
Right. The new grandstand is ready to go, and that's thanks to the Pike County Commissioners with funds that they had that had to be used for capital improvements. And so they decided to invest in the community and replace the old grandstand structure, which was in need of replacement. So we're happy to have the new grandstand. That's beautiful.
Now, she did mention all that happens on Monday night. She told me afterwards that she has CRC syndrome, and I asked, what is CRC syndrome? And she says, can't remember crap. And so she said that all of the Queen activity, the apple pie auction, the 4-H events, the scholarships, and all that they hand out, including the parade of clubs, which is really neat if you've never seen that, that's all taking place on Sunday. It usually has happened on Monday, but Nate Smith is the country music artist who will be performing. I guess he could only be there on Monday, so they moved everything around, so they'll dedicate that new grandstand and more. If you want to find out more details, take a look and listen to this on our YouTube channel now.
Gotcha. One more reminder about a meeting tomorrow, a pre-fair clinic for those involved with the rabbit entries at the Ross County Fair. That meeting is tomorrow at the Ross County Fairgrounds Rabbit Barn from 6 to 7:30 p.m. And by the way, the Ohio State Fair opened this morning in Columbus. City of Chillicothe has announced the start of a new sidewalk repair program, with the city helping property owners with that expense.
Yay.
Now, the city will contribute 50% up to $2,000 for sidewalk repairs and 50% up to $3,000 for projects that must include curb and gutter. But applications must be submitted by October the 1st.
So if you say later when the work starts and everything, you're like, why didn't I know about this? This is when you find out about it right now.
Absolutely. And there's a lot more details, including some links that you can go to a lot of those applications in our website story at littermedia.com. Ross County Auditor Jeff Lehner and Treasurer Dave Jeffers have announced their decision to reinstate Ross County's participation in what's known as the OhioCheckbook.com website, a joint venture of the State Treasurer's Office and the Governor's Office of Budget and Management that allows you, the Ohioans, to view state and local government spending data in a searchable, user-friendly way.
I don't remember going off of that. I know when John Husted was the auditor, he was the auditor, wasn't he?
The state.
Over the state. And I remember having him on a radio show talking about this. And so I was just kind of surprised that Chillicothe was off of that
Yeah,
in Ross County.
we were on it, and it lapsed. For some reason, they just didn't get it back on there. But now we're back up and running again. If you don't have anything going this Sunday, come join the Huntington Cross Country team at the Run for Hank 2-mile color run and walk. Even if you don't want to run, you can come out and support the runners that have donated their time and money for a great cause. Now, this is this Sunday at 3 p.m. out at Huntington School. There's also a raffle with some awesome prizes. Of course, if you don't know the story of Hank, a young boy that's been battling cancer, and a lot of community support for Hank out there. And I don't know if you can see it, that Tyrannosaurus Rex on his shirt, it's got Hank's name on it there. So.
And we did a feature on Hank on our YouTube channel here a while back. So if you want to learn a little bit more about his circumstance, go ahead and click on that.
Absolutely. Chillicothe Civic Theater will be conducting auditions for their production of The Sound of Music.
The hills are alive.
Thank you. I sung and got shot down for it the other day, so let Dan try it. The show will be directed by Joey Manna, good friend of this program. The show's music director is Laura Penix. Now, performances are December 7th through 10th at the Majestic Theater, but the auditions are open to all and will be on August 5th from 6 to 8:30 p.m. and August the 6th from 4 to 8 p.m. in the Civic Theater at their 83 South Walnut Street location.
This is also the program that put my name in it.
Ramey? Yeah,
Fosso.
gotcha.
We had, I was the first of that, Do, Re, Mi. Then came Ron Fosnaw, so they call it Fosso. James Leedy was part of our group, so there's La T, so we call Leedy, and then we didn't have anything for T, and we just went with Woody Blanton. And Woody. So you had Do, Re, Mi, Fosso, La T.
Yeah, got thrown in there. No Julie Andrews appearances this time around.
We were crazy kids at Commercial Point inside of the Township Elementary.
Yeah. Oh, well. Road report, Fayette County, US 35 northbound and southbound over Creek Road is having daily lane restrictions. That's 7A to 7P now through August the 5th, so just prepare for possible delays. It's not just a continuous thing, but every once in a while they need to get out there in the lane, so just be aware of that.
I know driving through downtown Chillicothe this week has been rather... I haven't seen any of the semis have to go through the obstacle courses because they've been continuing to work on the gas lines and things. And I remember when people said, why aren't they paving over Main Street in Chillicothe? Well, because they still had more cutting to do, obviously. But yesterday I was driving through and all those pylons set up, and that was before lunch. Came back on later in the evening, and now they're working on the other side, and they had everybody going on this side of the... I thought, how could you get a big rig through there?
Yeah, when I went by, the right lane was being directed over, but the way they had it set up, it looked like a maze, and I thought, I get lost in there trying to go through that. So, yeah, just be aware of that work as well.
Yeah, you're talking about flowing. I mean, these guys were actually moving the cones while I was driving through at the time.
Exactly.
So. All right, speaking of cones, you can get a cone at McDonald's.
Correct, yes.
You can check that out.
Yes.
Part of the cool treats that they have there. They do it for the McCafe Bakery. They got all kinds of things, whether it be your coffee that you want, whether it's a meal and dessert. They've got, and have you seen the Oreo pie they have now?
What?
It's like it looks like the apple pie, only it looks like an Oreo crust, and it has the cream filling in it.
Uh-oh. I got to check that out.
You got to see. I saw it on the menu the other day, and I thought, I got to get one of these.
This is kind of like the Oreo cream color. Sometimes it's a little off-white. You know how they change the colors of the creams? Does the McDonald's do that too for their Oreo?
I can't say.
Okay. Of course, remember, I'm colorblind. Is this white?
No, it's not.
Great.
If you see this color in your Oreo, run. Throw the bag away.
Yeah.
It's not white.
It's not white, yeah.
But I have seen the ones that are orange during Halloween.
Yeah.
I think I've seen pink as well.
They always have great after effect. Yeah, the green especially. Yeah, be careful of that. I was remembering my wife saying the first time she ever experienced that, she says, "Oh my gosh, what's wrong with me?" Yeah.
We've had 3 daily programs this week, and I wanted to put my hands over my face a couple of times.
Oh, golly.
Just because of the subject matter Mike has been talking about here. Okay. McDonald's is what I was wanting to talk about.
Yeah, it's McDonald's. McDonald's.
Today is their open interview day.
I may be
You may be in
over.
line.
I may need a gig. I may come over right after this.
But when you stop in at McDonald's, make sure you pop in and say, "Hey, I'm looking for work." And they say, "Hey, we're doing interviews. Sit down here.
Oh.
Let's have a chat. Let's see if you will fit with our McCrew here at McDonald's." You've got the locations in Circleville, 4 locations here in Chillicothe, 1 in Greenfield, down in Waverly as well. And every one of those locations from 2 to 5 today has open interviews. So if you're looking for work, they're looking for you. And they employ a good number of people in the area. I think just out of Western Avenue, Kelly was telling me that she had over 100 people on the roster. So if it's like that there, it's probably the same everywhere. If you're looking for work, McDonald's is a great place to start. And starting at $15 and up to $20 if you're a manager.
Yeah.
So get more details now at your locally owned McDonald's.
I'm loving it.
Coming up, sports on the way next.
If you can't give true love to me, I'll understand. Just
It's
do
only
the
worth it
best
if you enjoy
you
it.
can.
Michelob Ultra.
Time for a glance at what's going on in the world of sports. And in order to do so, Mr. Sports, Mike Smith.
A lot of it deals with baseball. Not at Tarleton.
Do they play baseball in Tarleton?
Well, I'm sure they probably do, but maybe not during the downtown fair.
Is that what I'm looking for?
Yeah.
Okay.
Paints come back home, it says tomorrow, but this was posted last night. They lost 8-3 to Champion City over in Springfield, Ohio, 8-3. Back home for Dime, a dog night tonight. And a free giveaway for the gas card.
It's Winning Wednesday.
How about that?
And I think it's 5 fans will win gas cards from Valero.
That's handy in these days. But the Paints lost last night, but they've recently lost one of their better players.
You didn't have an image for that?
I did not.
Okay. Arturo Disla, who has had this wonderful summer of launching the baseball out of stadiums, was signed by the Texas Rangers. And his last game with the Chillicothe Paints was last Wednesday. Reached out to Jacob Wise. I said, "Hey, I haven't seen Arturo in the box score last few nights." And he says, "Yep, that's because he's now property of the Texas Rangers."
How about that? Well, that means he was playing very well. Yeah.
And turning a lot of heads. Who knows who the next one will be?
That's right.
So
And that's the thing that's so neat about Prospect League baseball. Yeah, a lot of these kids are in college now, but you just might see them on a major league ball field somewhere down the line. Speaking of the major leagues, looked like when Will Benson hit his 9th inning 2-run homer to give the Reds a 4-0 lead,
it's in the bag.
but then the bullpen gave up a 3-run homer. The top reliever in the major league, Mr. Diaz, comes on, and it was precarious, but the Reds hang on for a 4-3 win over the Brewers. They wrap up that series in Milwaukee this afternoon at 2:10. A Reds win would put them back in first place, but a loss would send them to Los Angeles a game and a half back. So big one today, and that wraps up their regular season play. It's hard to believe that they're finishing with each other in division.
Yeah,
this
they
early.
played, what, 9 games within 2.5 weeks
Yeah.
against each other?
Yeah.
Was it Duarte was the pitcher last
Duarte
night?
came on. Well, both of them, he and Diaz were warming up when it was 2-0.
Mm-hmm.
But when Benson hit the homer, Bell thought, well, let's spare Diaz, so we'll have him for the wrap-up on Wednesday. And then Duarte caves. I mean, and all of that happened with 2 outs. He got 2 outs, walks a guy, another guy gets on, and then bang. Yelich with a 3-run homer.
Hence, Yogi Berra. It ain't over until it's over.
It ain't over till it's over. But a big one at 2:10 this afternoon in Milwaukee.
I think my favorite is you three make some pair.
Yeah. Oh, Yogi. Good news for the Guardians. They bounced back with a win over KC 5-1 last night.
I don't know what was said, and you had alluded to this earlier in the week, that there are rumors that we may not see Jonathan India in a Reds uniform much longer with the trade deadline coming up. Last night after the game, he embraced with the shortstop, McLean, and it seemed like McLean was wanting to pull away, but he was still saying something in his ear. And I wonder, was he saying, it's been a pleasure playing with you?
Could be. I guess
Good luck. Keep this team together.
I guess the Reds earlier in the week had made it known that they would be willing to trade India for pitching. Doggone it, if our top 2 guys, Lodolo and Hunter Green, who going into the season we thought that was going to be our best 2 starters, but injuries have had them out most of the year. If we had them along with what Abbott's doing and now Williamson's coming on, is it Lively?
Yeah.
It's just the bullpen right now that's
Well,
killing
and
us.
didn't Lively go on the DL here
Well,
recently?
he's been in and out, so I don't know where he is at this particular time. So
and let's go back here a couple of years ago when everybody was saying Nick Krall doesn't know his back of his hand from the front of his hand. I'll put it nicely. and I thought to myself, listen, if this stuff pans out,
right.
he is going to build a winner on a very small budget.
Yeah.
And look at the talent that he's starting to gain and surround and everything. So let's say Hunter Green doesn't have his injury, which he's projected to be back in mid-August. Let's say Nick Lodolo isn't injured right now. They're cranking
Oh, yeah.
at this point. And Nick Krall looks like a genius.
Right. And they've got a couple of relievers that are coming back. I think one of them started a rehab assignment last night or yesterday. So if we could just get some of these guys healthy, we may not need to make a trade, but stay tuned.
Yeah.
Trade August 1st, I think it's the trade deadline. Okay.
Well, watch them end up sending like 5 of these prospects out.
Yeah, don't do that.
And here comes Oshani.
Yeah. Yeah.
From the
oh,
Angels.
no. We've got a great offense. We just need some more pitching.
He's a decent pitcher, too.
Well, that's true. But
think
that's
he's
just
like
one
6
guy.
and 5
That's
right
just
now.
one guy.
Yeah, you don't want to give up the...
Unless you're going to do it like they did Babe Ruth, take him off the mound and just stick him in the outfield and let him hit home runs all the time. So,
Yeah.
oh, well.
Then came the designated hitter.
Yeah.
So, all right. And he even had a designated runner, didn't he?
Only for his last game.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that was because he was up there.
And I only knew that from watching a movie.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, this is like the courtesy runner we used during our vintage baseball days.
Yeah.
So, all right. On the way, this date in history. Stick close for that as we go back to what year on the Litter Media Wayback Machine.
1863 in southern Ohio.
Details next. Accurate Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing is your trusted comfort advisor. With Accurate, with any of our sponsors, if you click on the ad where you see it at littermedia.com while you're taking a look at our website, you're you're going through, you're seeing some of the news stories, you'll see that all of our sponsors get an ad at the bottom of our news stories, and you'll see them on the sidebar of our website. Click on any of those, and it takes you right to either their social media or their direct website. For accurate, it's their website, and you can see everything that they do, all the territories that they handle, and how they can help you with the comfort in your home or your business. More details when you click on this ad at littermedia.com. This date in history, next.
Budweiser beer, the king is second to
Who drinks Budweiser? You know the type. The people who grind. Those who don't back down. And the ones who don't quit. They say all people are 6 degrees of separation away from each other. But some are just a six-pack away. The people who share the same spirit, share the same beer. This Bud's for you.
This is Andy Tomlinson. When ensuring what's important to you, our agents are there when you need us the most. Tomlinson Insurance, for the best coverage at the best cost. Visit us online at tomlinsonins.com to learn more.
Find a career you love with Pickaway Ross Adult Education. Skilled trades careers are in high demand with no signs of slowing down. Pickaway Ross offers career training programs with expert instructors and hands-on learning tactics to create a variety of opportunities. Visit our website for more information.
It is time to take a look back in time. Oh, well, that's current, isn't it?
Yeah,
right there.
It's still time.
I meant to push that button.
Yeah.
And go back to the year 1863.
Practically the entire Civil War is fought, the American Civil War is fought south of the Ohio River.
Mm-hmm.
But on this date in 1863, Confederate cavalry leader John Hunt Morgan and 360 of his men are captured at Salineville, Ohio, during a spectacular raid on the north. It started in July 1862 when Morgan made 4 major raids on northern-held territory over the course of a year. Although they were of limited strategic significance, the raids served as a boost to Southern morale and captured much-needed supplies. Morgan's 4th raid began on July 2nd of 1863 when he and 2,400 troopers left Tennessee and headed to the Ohio River. Morgan rampaged through Indiana and Ohio, riding across southern Ohio. At Pomeroy, Ohio, Morgan lost over 800 men when the Yankees caught up with him and captured a large part of his force. He and the remaining members of his command were forced further north, and on July 26, the exhausted men surrendered. Morgan and his officers were sent to the newly opened Ohio State Penitentiary in Columbus. He and his men, though, tunneled out on November 27th of that year, but Morgan was later killed about a year later in battle. But the Civil War comes to our backyard of southern Ohio, and he's captured on this date in 1863.
Wasn't his threat the reason that they burned the bridge there at Paint Creek?
By mistake. They
because
thought
they thought
coming.
he was on his way, so they burned the bridge. And then it's like, what are you doing?
Oh.
He's going the other way. But, hey, you got 1,000 soldiers coming at you.
Right.
You want to do what you can to protect the area, I guess.
Now, the road that you live on
Morgan Fork Road.
is
Some,
that him?
some call it Morgan's Fork. Others call it Morgan Fork. But the road sign says Morgan's Fork. But if you're local to it, it's Morgan Fork. But, yeah, and the creek that goes down through there, named after Morgan, And this is part of his raid. If you go down on Route 32, there are signs when they were looking at, was it the 150th anniversary? I think it was around 2013 or so, where he had come through that area. So if you're familiar with Jasper, I guess he went right through Jasper as well.
Yeah.
And I remember when all this was going on with changing the names of Native American Indians for nicknames for schools, Western, which is the Indians, there was discussion about changing that. And I thought, why not call them the Raiders? The Western Raiders. I think that'd be cool. And then I got to thinking about, well, what did these Raiders do when they came through? They were pillaging and doing
were traitors.
No, we don't want to do that.
You'd get.
I withdraw my suggestion.
Yeah, you can't win anymore. Yeah.
Yeah, but I get, from what I understand, a member of the school board told me that they have an agreement with the Native American people to keep it Indians because of the Ohio history connection with Indians.
Yeah, very good.
So.
Yeah, not every. Of course, I don't want to start preaching or open a can of worms, but not every mascot of a Native American was intended in any way to buffoon or to make light of. The Seminoles down in Florida State, those people said, we want you to keep this because this is our heritage. So not everybody's against that. So it's just a lot of times the ones that scream the loudest get the most attention. So
squeaky wheel gets the oil, right?
Or the grease. I remember the American Indian movement, which their acronym was AIM. Anytime you're walking across the country in the calls, it's US 50, which comes right through here. And I went down to interview one of their leaders when they stopped here in Chillicothe, and I said, Native American. He said, no, stop. I'm an Indian. So where others want to be referred to as Native Americans, he himself said, no, I'm an Indian. Call me an Indian. So I guess you just got to ask, how do you want to be referred? Dan, how do you want to be identified today?
My pronoun is he. My name is Dan.
And don't call me late for lunch.
Amen to that. This is not Indian, but India. Jonathan India. I was looking here at an article written. It says that the White Sox are interested in Jonathan India. It says, and this is verbatim, according to something reported by the Cincinnati Enquirer, as the Reds infielder might be expendable, the White Sox want in on a possible move. It was reported earlier this week that Cincinnati would be open to moving, like Mike said, the 2021 NL Rookie of the Year, as it has a glut of infield talent. Though it's seeking controllable pitching talent in return, there is a pitcher for the White Sox they're interested in. I can't recall the young man's name, but they were in one of the articles I was looking at earlier. His ERA has gone from this down to this just by some changes that he made. So maybe he's looking for a new home as well. So
stay tuned.
And there's another former Red involved here. The Braves possibly looking to reunite with Adam Duvall. Where did he go? The Red Sox.
Yeah.
Okay, so he signed with the Red Sox.
Lorenzen's name came up during the TV broadcast last night. He's one of the top relievers in baseball, and I can't remember.
Who was that?
Michael Lorenzen.
Oh, with the Tigers.
Tigers.
Yeah.
His name has been reserved. Aroldis Chapman. His name has been floated around as possibly bringing them back. So it could get real. When you're playing like the Reds have the last few years, it's almost like, who cares? But when you're in a pennant race, it's like everybody's glued in to see what they're going to do. So.
Well, the biggest thing about that is like it's all rumors. And most of it is these beat writers who are just, I got to write about something.
It's the dog days. I got to write something in there.
Right.
Stir it up.
Just kind of keep my name in there. So nobody really knows until it actually happens. And so, well, what if the Reds pulled off this deal to bring Justin Verlander to Cincinnati?
How old is he? He's getting up there.
He might be, but you could probably get several good games out of him than one of these younger guys.
I don't think they could get Kershaw, could they? That dude kills Cincinnati every time they play. And that's where they're heading after today is L.A. So
yeah. I got a good feeling about the Reds in Los Angeles.
Well, we beat them 2 out of 3 when they were here, but it's not easy playing at Chavez Ravine. So.
And they're going to be there again, like in 2 weeks, to play the Angels. So right back out there.
Yeah.
So they've got the Giants coming up. They've got the Diamondbacks coming up again. All those West Division teams are coming up. And before you know it, we'll finally be back to playing Central Division teams, which throws the Cardinals, Cubs,
and the Pirates.
But no worry about the Brewers from here on out.
Right.
So after today.
Unless we see them in the postseason. Yeah.
It'd be nice to beat them today because I don't think you're going to see them in the postseason. I don't think a wild card team will be coming out of the NL Central. I think somebody's got to win the division to get in.
Probably right.
Yeah. So, all right. Enough of that baseball-related talk. We want to take a moment about radio. I was thinking yesterday we were discussing words that we had difficulty with, and the one word that did come out that's not supposed to come out was that day when you were actually trying to say, "Hey, folks," and
oh, that one, yeah.
It was not.
I was still stuck on
folks,
organism.
Yeah. And I was chuckling down the road yesterday thinking about that. And this happened during what we referred to the Tracy Taylor Memorial Food Drive.
Yeah. I found out who my friends weren't that day. Everybody just parted like the Red Sea. Nobody there to bail me out.
Well, see, here's the deal. Christina Wolford and I had carried the weight of this broadcast throughout that day.
Because I was carrying actually food to help the needy.
It was time to make this guy do some work. So we said, here's the microphone. The next segment is yours. And Tracy was always big on having me really pull out the tears. He says, pour it on, Dan. So I would do what I could to make sure that people listening to the radio at the time were so compelled,
impaled,
yeah, so compelled to dig in their pockets and pull out whatever money they had to help feed the hungry and help these folks in this particular food drive we were working with. And so we had done that, and it was time to let Mike Smith carry the microphone.
It's time for the comedy hour.
and the radio station then was starting to put things up on their website, photos, that sort of thing. And we had just gotten this nice digital camera. And so I stepped out to go take a picture of Mike doing the break, but also the setting with the truck and all the people bringing food. I wanted to capture that. And the music would cue us to let us know it's time to talk. So coming out of the satellite radio network thing, you would hear this, dun, 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 that was our cue. You've got 2 minutes now to fill. And the very first thing out of Mike's mouth is...
that word.
Hi, folks.
That word that my mother hated, yeah.
It rhymes with...
I think they got it, Dan. We want to keep our jobs here.
And suddenly, it was as if you saw a bear show up in a group of lambs. They all just scattered everywhere.
Yeah, it's like, help, help.
And there was one little guy standing in the middle just by himself, and you finally got back on track, but it took several seconds
my voice was probably
get it back together. It was almost like, what did you people hear? Where are you going? What did I say?
I don't think anybody of a listener's nature that I recall called to say anything about
if
it.
I'm not mistaken, the fellow that was back running the show in the studio said, what?
What did he
I was
say?
supposed to hit the delay button. I couldn't get to it fast enough. I was laughing so hard, I couldn't reach the button.
Oh, yeah, delay.
What a day that was.
Oh, yeah.
So
I can remember some other days down there that were probably as bad, if not worse, for the weather. And
yeah, the food drive was always at that difficult time for us, speaking of you and me, because we were
basketball
at a basketball game the night before. In some instances, I was just coming in from Marietta or whatever. Oh, you're going to be there at 7 o'clock, right? You got to be there at 7 o'clock in the morning. I just got in.
Oh, he was never there on time. No matter what we were doing, he was never there on time.
That's true. In fact, I think I showed up late for a trip one time, and everybody started to leave without me, but I got there just in time.
I know we got him an alarm clock for Christmas one year. I don't know if he probably just, I always could picture his nightstand in his house. He probably had 5 alarm clocks, and you're probably like my wife. If it goes off, you hit snooze, snooze, snooze.
The alarm clock was always set in the bathroom, so I would have to get out of bed to go over to turn it off. And I had to throw that away just about 2 months ago.
Wow.
Because it finally died.
It finally died, yeah.
It was to a point where it wouldn't even turn on the radio. And you could hear it engage for the alarm. Usually it would go beep, 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 like that. Well, you would hear it kind of go.
As we all do when we get older. Did I hear that right?
But there was no impact. And I remember, like, why didn't I wake up on time? And I set the alarm just to give it a test, and it goes, and that was it. I'm like, that's not going to wake me up.
Oh, God. Wow.
The good old days, the good old days.
You were talking about the food drive. I don't know how many years that went. 30? 30 years maybe?
Yeah,
20,
I don't know.
30?
This was the one thing that Tracy Taylor embraced. I mean, it was his puppy. And when he got sick, we wanted to carry the load for him on that. And then, of course, we lost him. But I don't know that I want to say 2016 might have been the last year we did it.
But then I thought they came back.
Did they?
Yeah.
Okay.
But what I was thinking, of all those years, there were certain individuals who, and they were so humble about their giving, they didn't want to be mentioned on the radio when they were coming through. But year after year, they were always there. Yeah. And we appreciate it. The Lord knows who you folks are.
They would be there with a check, and it would be a sizable check.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and they would just be, hi, how you doing? They'd hand you the check, and then you drive along, and then you take a look at it. Whoa, what?
Yeah.
And the cool thing was Steve Delmo.
I was just thinking of Steve.
Well, you were probably thinking for a different reason.
The time that he tried to kill me.
But Steve knew what kind of food could be purchased with that money. And Jeff Anthony at the time, we always had this at what used to be Big Bear, then became Community Markets. And now the establishment's sitting there empty. But Jeff Anthony was the manager of Big Bear and Community Markets when we were doing this. And Jeff would come out, visit with us, and then they'd hand him money. He would go back, and his people would just start putting all these, and they would come rolling out these cans of green bean, corn, everything, and then we would put them into the trucks and then haul them away. And when we hauled them away, we took them to the Good Sam Food Pantry, what at that time was the old Velvet Ice Cream place.
Correct.
And this is leading up to what Mike was talking about when he was almost killed. We were all in the backs of these trucks, and we would set up a little chain. We would back the truck up, put down the tailgate, and then everybody would start unloading food. Well, here comes Mike late to the party, and so Steve Delmo is standing there, and he says, okay, I'll help you up here. And Mike is climbing from the ground to the back end of the truck. And Steve grabbed his glove, and what goes into a glove comes out of a glove. Yeah. And Mike ends up on his back.
Yeah, that ramp, that dock had to be 4 feet high, and I landed on my back. Easy. And I know it was really cold.
Did it knock the wind out of you?
I can't remember. Fortunately, there was a rock that missed my head, missed it by that far, or I'd have been really out.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really cold. All I remember, that ground had no give to it because it was frozen solid. So yeah.
Yeah.
So I almost bought the farm.
We almost lost Mike that day.
Helping the need.
And then it would have become the Mike Smith Memorial Food Drive.
Yeah. Well, that was before Tracy passed away.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
We mentioned Michael Frank's name a while ago. Matt Bruning was a part of that day because I remember him wearing I want to say it was an Indiana Hoosiers hockey sweater or something.
Yeah.
And so I still have pictures of that. And that was the day we lost Mike. So, yeah. We've talked so much about our experience with this. The Good Sam Food Network still accepts donations.
Yes.
They are now over on Woodbridge Avenue, and there is a food pantry in many churches, in many counties across southern Ohio. So we're talking about our Chillicothe experience. If you are in Pickaway County or Pike County, Vinton, wherever the case may be, Highland, make sure you make donations because these folks can use your help because they help others who are coming to them for that assistance. So
We've had Judge Jan Corzine in on a number of occasions. Pastor Link at the Presbyterian Church was in. We did an interview with them. And one thing that we discovered that they reiterated, oftentimes you think of Thanksgiving, Christmas as the need, but the need's there all year. So just because we're in the heat of July, don't forget that there's still a need to donate. So, and cash, we've found over the years, goes farther with their services than actually taking food down there because they can get a discount at Mid-Ohio Food Bank. So keep that on your list for the summer.
And thank you to Jennifer Wing. She chimes in here. She says, I remember the JCs having a food drive with you all there and helping with that too. So, that was one of the things we did with radio was the community service that and I got to tip my cap to Mr. Dan Latham, sir, our former general manager of the radio stations. He made it fun.
Oh, yeah.
He at least he would try to. He made an attempt to make it fun. And so there was a lot of times where there was need in the community, and we put our forces together to reach out to our listeners to make that happen. So, and in fact, as I'm sitting here talking about this, I'm thinking, if you run one of those food pantries and you want to do an interview and talk about your services, feel free to reach out to us. We have mentioned to you before, there's an email address that runs across the bottom of the screen here. You can reach out to us on Twitter, as you see there. It looks like we need to get rid of the bird there, don't we?
Needs to be an X.
We have to make that change. But you can reach out to us, and any kind of community service thing you've got going on, we can help get the word out on that. And helps us still be in contact with the community, but gives you a voice also. So we're opening that up to you to let us know, and then we can help share the information. All right, that's going to do it for the program today.
Maybe a new look tomorrow. Getting new spectacles here when I leave the building. So
he'll be the one reading all those buttons I got to push on the screen that we can't see.
Whether the lenses will be different, I don't know, but the frames will be a little bit different. So.
Yeah, I saw a guy in Jeopardy last night. They had like blue frames and a pink top.
Nothing like that.
I kind of wonder if we'll see that coming out of Mike Smith.
Nothing like that.
Nothing like that? Okay.
Pretty blank.
That's it. I believe I'm waiting to hear back from a potential guest today at 2 o'clock. So if I do not get confirmation, there won't be a show this afternoon, and then we'll be back at it again tomorrow at 11, or do you have another special?
You have Tiffany Baldwin
that's right.
coming in tomorrow morning.
To talk about the Sand in the Streets volleyball, which is coming up August 26th.
Late August.
Last Friday in August. It should be a lot of fun. And, they've got a couple of years under their belt now doing this thing, so it's going to be yet even better. I'm hearing that Kia, through Hernstein, has tossed in like an extra several $1,000s to help with the purse, because this is going to be for some money this time.
That'd be neat.
Competitive. It's been bragging rights up until now, but now it's going to be, there's some hardcore cash that these folks are going to be winning in this volleyball tournament. All right, that's it for the program. Until next time, keep your eye on Litter Media YouTube, on our website, littermedia.com, on Twitter with Litter Twitter, and, of course, here on Facebook. For Mike Smith, I'm Dan Ramey. Enjoy the rest of your Wednesday, and don't forget today's open interview today at McDonald's. That's your cue.
Oh, I'm loving it.
Yes. Thanks for watching.